the chat. Oh, gotcha. All right, looks like we're live. We've been live for 8 seconds.
8 seconds. Just like a rodeo.
Are we popping up? Is it working?
Yeah, it's working. I can see us.
Okay, well, I guess you wanna. How do we get started here? So you're going to Flying Monkey. I unfortunately am not. We've attended this tournament. This will be your 4th time, right? I've been 3 times.
Sorry, I was hearing double audio there because I was watching the video or watching the live stream while being in the live stream. So I was confused and missed what you said because I was hearing 2 different things.
Yeah, same. Yeah, this tournament is a lot of fun for both of us. I think this will be your 4th time going, correct? And I've been there 3 times. I think, is that right?
Yeah. This will be my 4th time playing AoS at Flying Monkey. I actually played 40K at the first one, like I don't know.
Oh, really?
Like 10 years ago or something like that. But yeah, this will be my first AoS. I think we've both been to everyone post-COVID.
Yeah,
it's happened so far, not including the one this weekend.
Yeah, I will not be able to go because I just had a child, which if you caught our last stream or watched that video, you definitely heard him. I've got him again. It's kind of a power sharing agreement for me being able to take enough time doing this. So, well, so today we're going to go through the list, right? And we can go through. I found out through this application you can also share your screen. So. If you want to bring up any of those other data points, you can go free. We can do that as well. But we got lists, we've got some ELOs, we have a few other interests that were put together by Travis, right, over at
Vault Wars TO.
Yeah, Vault Wars TO, and regular guest on Warhammer Weekly, right?
I don't know if he's a regular guest. I know he's been on before.
Travis or Tyler who's getting
it? Travis put this together
for us. Okay, gotcha. Cool. Yeah. Travis Boyson, right? I think.
Yeah. Travis. Yeah, he's the TO of one of the TOs of Vault Wars. So good event as well in Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah, which I have unfortunately not been to, but you have, right? You've enjoyed it.
Yep. I went to that last year for the first time, and I am going again this year. Basically, I go to 2 GTs a year. At this point, Flying Monkey is one, which by the way is in Wichita, Kansas, hosted by I think the Flying Monkeys gaming club.
Yeah.
Charles is the TO. Good dude, friendly dude.
Yeah. Yeah, dude loves destruction. That's for sure. There we go. Yeah. Well, cool. Do we want to jump into these lists and kind of go over some of them, and then I assume we'll be talking about yours a little longer.
Yeah, that sounds good. I haven't combed through these really, so it'll be a surprise for all of us.
Big caveat: lists were locked 24 or 48 hours prior to the balance update.
Yeah, they were locked. They were locked on Saturday, or I guess the Saturday before the balance update that night. So yeah, that's a good point. There's an asterisk on this conversation. It's all of this will be considering pre September 2024 battle scroll rules changes and points and all that. So this is all pre-battle scroll. So maybe it'll still be an interesting exercise, but I guess not super relevant. I mean, not that it's irrelevant, but definitely there will be after this.
Right. I mean, it's still data points, essentially, just not as up to date. I think I think we understand and feel that pain as it relates to Bug Eater, because whenever a new edition comes out, it seems like it's maybe a month after we're running our tournament. So we usually happen to have an asterisk, or when you're running the tournament, I just help you run it.
Yeah, that is true. Bug Eater GT here in Omaha, it is usually or it's always the first weekend in June, which everybody knows every third year the edition seems to turn over in July. So it's one of the last events of the edition, usually every third year.
And I think the other thing you kind of get hit with now is the GHB turns over too. So we're usually one of the last majors before the GHB changes.
Yep.
Which is good and bad, right? Like you kind of just see like the GHB as in a fully evolved form, but then also sometimes people aren't that interested, or they might be into certain traps and whatnot.
Yeah, that is true. There's usually not a whole lot of rules disputes, I'll say, because we've had a whole full year with the edition, or the General's Handbook.
Yeah, that is always nice, honestly.
Yep.
We'll remove this a little bit so we can get the glare of that out. Yeah. Okay. Not so bad. All right. Yeah. Let's dive into these.
Are you able to see like the YouTube chat?
Oh man, I am not.
Yeah, I was wondering that. I can't see it either.
Yeah. Perhaps. Do you want to have that up and then monitor that?
Just for everyone's reference, this is the first time we're doing a stream.
Yeah. First
together.
time co-streamed. Yeah. It's the first time using software that's actually off of YouTube code. So last time I did it, it was using the YouTube web thing, and that you have limited options, but it's a lot more streamlined. So
yeah, so I have the chat pulled up. I don't know if anyone's actually watching live right now, but
we had a few at one point, but we'll see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's go into this first one. We got a lot. Do we know how many people are at the event? 32, something like that?
I think it's 55 or something. So.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is a good turnout.
Be multiple 5-0s then.
Yep. Yeah, it's a 5-round event.
Yeah.
I think they're doing. I guess I haven't fully reviewed the pack, which is bad on me. But I think it's 2-hour, 45-minute rounds. So we'll see how that goes early in the edition.
Yeah, I think that's going to be tight. I think a lot of people aren't going to be finishing games.
Yeah, I guess just for everyone's reference, I'm planning on using the clock in my games. So if you happen to see this,
well, we're pretty happy and liberal with our clocks up here. So
yeah, especially early in edition. I mean, I want to keep myself honest as much as anything.
Exactly, and like it feels comfortable to know you could go take a bathroom break and it's not going to affect the amount of time your opponent gets to make decisions and your opponent gets to actually play the game out. And like just having those stress-free situations, or if you really have a big rules question that you really want to get resolved, and you can put it on your time and know that you're not dragging the whole game down. That means a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So 52, we got a lot to go through. Let's see what we can do. So we can get started here with the first one. I hope you said you're monitoring the chat, so if you guys can't see, I can do my best to zoom in. I can probably just zoom in now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a hard time monitoring the chat actually, and reading this. I'm on one monitor right now, so.
Okay, gotcha.
I do see a couple people in the chat saying hi. So hey guys.
Oh, hold on. I think the comments are actually coming through on this program.
Are they?
Yep. Oh, sweet.
Oh, look at us learning.
Yeah, we're real streamers now. All right, so I hope the screen now is better. I zoomed in a little bit.
Yeah, I can see.
Cool. Right, yes, the first one. We got a weird list. I'm a little familiar with ogres, as I've been smashed by them a few times playing as Beck before
I,
everything shook out and everybody knew where stuff was.
yep, I
Hi
have.
Dan, hi Kyle.
That's
You
also
have also.
Nick, the other person in there,
Oh, okay.
aka
How
my
about
brother.
it? You said you've also played against ogres.
No, I have not played against ogres.
Well, this looks to be pretty normal. We got Slaughtermaster's pretty solid. Iron Guts are, um, uh, not the most points efficient, but I still think they hit hard enough that they're solid to bring in a list. Butcher, I believe, is the guy that enables run charge, and he's insane. That hits
He,
pretty hard too.
he can give an extra attack as well, I believe.
Um, I believe you are right. He does both, or is the Slaughtermaster the extra attack? Or
Maybe it's the Slaughtermaster.
I know that those two heroes are the only heroes that you really that are really pointed efficiently and effectively for what you get.
Let's see. The Slaughtermaster can. Oh yeah, he can give the 5-up ward or +1 attack.
And the extra attack. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And then the Butcher is run in charge, right? And that's it. Yeah, which is why that's fine. That's exactly what you want with the support hero, right? It's just some awesome passive. So.
Yep.
We got Frostlord and Stonehorn sliding around. I might zoom out just one peg so I can see if I can get most of the list on the screen at once. We didn't talk about the formation either. Where is it? Prophets of the Golden God. Oh yeah, at one of the casting rolls. Yeah, that's probably the best.
That's a pretty standard kind of formation that exists in multiple books currently.
I did need to go check because he's running Frostlord, so I wasn't sure if he was going to be doing what is it, Heralds of the Outer Winter, which is the -1 hit for shooting. I think that one's reasonable, but
yeah,
Frostlord and Huskard, Frost Savers for objectives, and then the one Glutton's unit. List seems fine. 4 drops. I do think that they're not running as much beef as some of the other ogre lists. So
yeah, I think his artifact, and I don't know, we don't have time to spend 10 minutes on every list.
yeah.
I think his artifact. Does his artifact make him his Stonehorn a priest? Maybe.
Touched by the Evan, which we should already be a priest, right? Or the Fang.
No, touched by the Everwinter.
He turns out
that makes him a priest.
The Frost Lords, I think, are already priests, right? His artifact is turns off wards, and then the her trait is touched, and I'm pretty sure that makes him a priest. But it lets him re-roll.
I think Huskards are priests. Huskards are priests. Frost Lords are not.
Gotcha. Yeah,
so he's got 2 priests. Yeah, I mean, ogres are good.
I think a lot of it's going to be dependent on keeping these monsters alive.
Yeah, Kyle confirmed Huskards are priests.
All right, let's move on to, oh man, I've never heard of this guy. Billy Klingman. Playing some Trogs.
Local Omaha guy playing Trogs. I have played him myself a couple times with this list. Once again, this is pre-battle scroll update, so this list went up, I think, by 120 points or so.
Yeah, 120 for Billy.
Yep.
What do you have to say about the list? You said you played it a few times.
Yeah, I've played it twice. Both times, I guess, spoiler alert, I'm playing OCR Bone Reapers. Played it twice, not with the exact same list I'm bringing this time, but played it to a draw both times. But the only reason I was able to play it to a draw is because I played super cagey. So this is, I'm not going to say this is exactly a net list because it's, they're not all Trog lists are the same, but it's got the pieces there, right? Multiple big units of Rock Gut Trogs that put out a lot of damage, have have a ward save, can get multiple bonuses to save, with all out defense and the moon and all that. It's good. And of course the recursion with the
Yeah.
with the
I gotta say, I really like
Shroud.
his Regiment 2 inclusion. I think Gabapalooza is maybe one of the best units in the game.
Yeah.
Just wizard units, I think, are crazy strong. So I think Doomfire Warlocks are also up, and the new Plague Pack priest unit, I think, is pretty good too. So I think this is crazy good.
Yeah,
I think the inclusion of some Moon Clan.
And Gabapalooza is not unique anymore, right?
Right. Yeah.
So he can bring that back with his recursion. Squig Hoppa's in there just to help with battle tactics. So just a good list. I mean, it's not
solid.
18 rock guts like some of them see, but it's got plenty of rock guts.
But I think not being so narrow will actually help him escape certain matchups when you ski that hard.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, Brett Metzler. Here's another person I've never heard of.
Yep. So back to back local guys going down with me from Omaha to Wichita. I've played against Brett a time or two this edition with Stormcast, but not this list. I have not. This is a fresh list for him. But he's a longtime Stormcast player. He knows what he's doing. So I suspect he'll be able to be effective with this list. I mean, Karzai the Scarred, pretty solid beat stick. Pretty solid hammer and anvil. And he's got the Praetors, who I assume will be deployed next to him, or assigned to him to help his survivability. Fulminators still pretty good. Night Arcanum. One interesting thing about Stormcast, I think, is they're down to currently having only 2 wizards in the book. The Night Arcanum and Karzai's big bro Krondus. So he's got the Night Arcanum. Gets the bonus to cast manifestations, so that's good. I think also bonus to banish, maybe. Someone can confirm that. I guess I can look it up.
I can.
I know.
I can look it up while you're still. You know the list better than I do, so I'll just I'll look.
Yeah. 2 units of prosecutors. They're there to get battle tactics.
Bonus to cash.
3d6.
Bonus to cash when you're doing a summon, and bonus to banishment. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So prosecutors 3d6 charge is good, but they're not really there to kill anything unless it's kind of MSU type skirmish units.
Do you know what counts as extremist chamber? Is it?
Say that again.
Do you know everything that counts as extremist chamber? So that's what his formation is. I don't know.
Extremist chamber is not. I think extremist chamber is the fulminators.
The chat is saying dragons.
Yeah. So I don't. Is Karzai extremist chamber? I don't think he is. I don't think he has a chamber.
He does not. No. Okay, so the fulminators are trying to strike first. Is basically it.
Yep, that's what it looks like. Yep.
Okay.
And then
sorry.
Andrasta, she's good, really good against monsters.
Yeah.
Like she doubles damage or something like that against monsters. I've played against Andrasta with early on in the edition with Korn.
Yeah, that's right.
She just trounced a Bloodthirster.
Oh yeah, double damage characteristic for any of her attacks, and then some of them are 4 and 3 damage. So yeah, that's pretty hard.
Yep. So I the list doesn't scream at me that it's super OP, but he's a seasoned player that knows how to play Stormcast. So and we don't know everybody at this tournament. It just happens to be that the 2 of the first 3 are people riding down with me.
And yes, Dan asked in the chat, is extremist chamber one, and it's an umbrella chamber that they put a few things that already had chambers into it. So it's Not
It's not the. I don't know what the new. I can't remember what the new one is called. It's got
okay.
all. It's got the new. I mean, I think it is a new chamber. I don't think it existed before, but it's not like the new units that came out this edition. I don't know what that's called.
Gotcha.
I do know that the prosecutors are in whatever that newest chamber is.
All right, so here we are on to this Lumineth list, which is gross.
Nick says Ruination Chamber is the new one.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it looks like Brett.
Right.
So there'll be multiple Bretts
Brett's
vying for
back.
the title of best Brett.
Yeah, best Brett. Yeah, this looks good. Sentinels are fine. Blade Lords are really strong. Wind Chargers are quick. There's 2 units of Wind Chargers. He's running Wind Temple, so that lets him basically always get to select their move like the Wind battle trait, which lets up to 3 units move in the shooting phase. After they've shot, if you move before you shot, then you can't shoot.
Yeah, that's super good. We were kind of talking about this before or earlier today, how the movement that Lumineth can put out is actually arguably stronger than the teleporting kind of stuff that other armies can do, because you're not limited to outside of 9 inches of enemy units and that sort of thing. You have less restrictions. You don't cover the whole board necessarily, but it's pretty dang close a lot of times, especially with foxes.
Yeah, especially if you're running, and very, very easily. I mean, the double move, you're definitely clearing the board most of the time. So these chargers move inches. So, 28 inches should get you where you need to go on a board size that we're playing on. And
Yep.
30, 34 if you run.
Yeah. And he's got a lot of shooting in there, right?
Yeah, I'm the Wind Chargers shooting. I think they turn off wards when they shoot. Yep.
No wards for the Wind Chargers, and I guess it's not the most shooting out of a Lumineth list, but still a decent amount with
True, yeah.
And Severeth.
And Wardens are still good as well. And I think tech lets with Morbid Conjuration, especially pre nerf, is going to be this is going to be a really controlly list. This is going to be a tough match, and he's going to control. He's going to control who goes first a lot of the time too.
I have not played against Lumineth this edition either, so I'm really looking forward to it.
I did get my buddy the second game in his first of the edition, and he's still feeling things out. So, and it was not this. It was stone. It was the stone. So
Teclis still does his auto cast, right? 10s or something like that.
Yeah. He chooses between 1, 2, and 4 casts. And, kind of dominates the board. So yeah, I think this is gonna be a tough one. This is gonna be good. Easy to get the objectives. We could just get 3 battle tactics right after that, and with tech list and Morbid Conjuration, it's going to be easy to disrupt too. So that's going to be a challenging game for, especially if you don't have any ranged attacks. Byron Thomas. Back in All the Blood is the Vampire one. We got Neferata. Love to see it. Great guard. Oh, Manfred. With okay. This is a triple Mortark list. I mean, it's funny.
Triple Mortark?
Yeah, he's Regiment Vernal with Arcane the Black.
See that? Okay. All right, getting the band back together.
Yeah.
Going back on tour, just like Oasis, right?
Yeah, this is an interesting list. There's not really much to say about it. The Mortarks are good, strong. He's not, he's leaving a little bit behind with Neferata, I think. Her abilities and things that she can do. But both of these Mortarks are strong. Neferata's obviously strong. I think up by like 40 points.
Yeah, and I think
I'm
everything is a threat in this list, right? Like, there's not a single thing that's a pushover. You got 2 units of 2 more gas. I mean, everything can do something in this list.
Do you think Aetherite is an interesting call? Just because again, I think Aetherite is really good, and I think that the pendulum will actually be the next problem child, especially now this is kind of moved back and more is they're doing their best to mitigate some of the stuff. I think pendulum is about the new thing that is a problem. So I think right here too, and Aetherite, and then if he's not in combat, all his vampire wizards, which is Manfred and Neferata, are going to get +1 to cast, and then in combat they get +1 to wound. So they'll be wounding on this, but they'll be able to put up these spells, which I think is pretty good. I'm not still on the Lich's hand, just in general, like, but I don't think Byron is here to play more Tarks, which I still don't think is bad.
Yeah, he is right. They are scary.
Yeah,
it's in the title.
All right, ready to move on.
Yep. I have not played Soulblight this edition either.
I actually haven't either. I've watched a few games though. I haven't busted mine out. I've been really on the FEC train, like trying to figure this out. Guys, cute Seraphon clearly. So,
yep.
Carson. So, 2 drops again. Shadow Strike Star Host is the one where the kings get to move. It could be really strong with these anti-charge hunters of Wanchi. Aggro Lancers are good. And we got your Salon. Proctor, I think, are really good too. I'm surprised they can go up in points because they point for point are some of the highest damage output in the Seraphon book. And the Arcaset deck, but I think there's enough other decent stuff in the list that it's.
Does that let any skink unit move?
I think it's non-monster.
Okay.
I can't confirm.
But the hunters will be included in that.
Yes, hunters will
and the Raptor hunters.
And I believe in the chargers too. I think it's non-monster because I think the cavalry still can. Shell strike. Up to 3 skink infantry or skink cavalry.
When does that move happen?
Once per turn in your shooting phase, you pick up to 3.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, anytime you're getting out of phase movement is money in the bank.
Right. Yeah, I think it's solid. It's a little thin. I think if it gets hit with the right stuff, we'd be in trouble. But good.
Not having looked through a ton of these lists, I'm guessing a lot of them are going to be thin on bodies early in edition.
Yeah.
I just want to get games in. Hopefully, want to get your games finished.
And I think that's important too. Actually, having a small list that you can play quick is going to be important.
Yep.
All right, Daughters of Cain from Chad.
All right, near and dear to you.
Yeah, I can probably handle this one. It's going to be Snakes if it's Escape Heaven. Manifestations of Cain, which I was looking at stats on Warhammer the other day, and Manifestations of Cain are actually taken a lot, and they're taken more often than Morbid Conjuration, which I'm not surprised by because I think the Heart of Cain is crazy good. And it's the -1 to wound bubble.
Yeah.
-1 to wound bubble. Yeah. So we get Marathi Shadow Queen and the General's Regiment, which is real sneaky, and I like it. I like it a lot if you aren't worried about drops or you've got other heroes that you're bringing. Looks like they are. Some on-foot Hag Queens with King and Shadow Stalkers. So Stalkers teleport. This is the go-getters. I think I would rather have the Harpies actually, but just because they synergize a little bit better with Marathi, and I think the shooting's just slightly better and really good. But it looks like a lot of thin. I think there's going to be any shortage of teleporting spots for the Shadow Stalkers to land, so it's still pretty solid. Queens are little priests. Zealous Orator is rallies. and K9 Pendant is once per game, an extra D6 ritual point, which you're going to be topping off that big ritual. And looks like 20 spear snakes and an iron scale. So iron scale and reroll charge, iron scale in chain fight, and then direct one with it, and the one that it directs gets extra attacks characteristic. So with Marathi, the prayer, those iron scale, you can get up to +3 attacks pretty easily.
Yeah, a lot of damage. A lot of
snakes.
damage potential.
I actually am not a big fan of escape. Yeah, and 2 damage. I'm not a fan of the escape coven because I'm just going to touch on this because I bet the other DOK list is going to be escape coven if they run it. Because it's a bit of a non-go with the iron scale. You roll an 8 on it and then strike first, which is great. But if you have strike first on your blood sisters, that means you can't go with the scale to chain the extra attack. So that's a complete non there. And it's not optional. So you just get it if you get the 8. So that kind of sucks. And then blood sisters already come with an ability to hand out strikes last. So I feel like we're kind of doubling up on effects that are good, but like it's kind of, I don't know, what you really want. So I'm kind of bummed out that we're stacking, and the only thing that cares about Escape Coven really is Blood Sisters. So it's weird. But decent list. I think Marathi is still good. I think there's a lot of objective play here. I don't think they're too worried about not going first as well, and they do a lot of damage. So I like it.
Okay.
We'll let you handle this one. Charles Belt's Curse of Beers, Ossiarch Bone Reapers list.
All right. Yeah. So there are 3 Bone Reaper players at the event, including myself. And interestingly enough, I do not believe there's any Nagash or Catacross in any of the Bone Reaper lists. And as you can see, this one does not have one. Does have Arcan, so he still is a multi-cast wizard and with inherent. I think it's +1 to cast. I've not used him yet this edition. Unit of Death Riders, they're good. They do mortals to infantry on the charge. You got to remember when you're playing against them, it is only infantry they do mortals to, and they have the ability to move over infantry on the charge as though they could fly, and that's how they do the mortals. So they have to move over the infantry to be able to actually do those charge mortals. But they're still a good unit regardless. 3 wounds on a 4-up save, and it adds some good movement to the army. Standard cav kind of stat line, double or extra damage on the charge, that sort of thing. And then looks like he's got a Mortek Crawler, which I've also not used this edition, but they have piqued my interest.
Especially upcoming now that it's got a points reduction.
Yeah,
I just see it's still crazy for it, but like, really interesting.
Really good range. Good, decent volume of attacks for something with that kind of range. 4 attacks. They do only hit on 4s, but I think they win on 2s. Ren 1 and D3 +2 damage. So the damage potential is there, and they can make you fight last. But it's kind of like they're not the only. It's not the only unit in the game with the rule. It requires you to kill models and then roll equal to or less than the number of models you kill. I think. It's not my favorite thing.
Certain things like Vanguard or big heroes or things like that. It's just not
yeah, it's good against infantry. And then unit of Mortek Guard, and then he's got Os Effector with the Helm of Tyranny, which reduces. It's a 12-inch aura of -2 to control score, and then Diversionary Tactics is a 12-inch aura of -2 to charge ranges. Helm of Tyranny is pretty much the auto selection for artifact. The other 2 aren't real good. I mean, Helm of Tyranny is okay, but the kind of units you're putting them on. Like this Mortison AoS Effector is just a foot wizard, so he's gonna have a hard time. I use the same artifact, but I think it's hard to actually make very useful so far, in my experience. And then diversionary tactics. The other option for the heroic trait would be the 12-inch aura of -1 to be wounded in shooting, which is actually what I went with, just because I think it's easier to pull off than having a small foot hero trying to affect opponents' charge rolls. But I do see the value in it too. If they're close, if they're starting to get close to your back lines or close to your castle, then having that -2 could save you. So I think the verdict is out on that one for me anyway. I could go either way, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And then a unit of Immortus Guard to protect one of his heroes. They give a +1 to, actually it's all the heroes. They give a +1 to wards for any heroes in combat range. And then reinforced unit of Morghast, Archai. Morghast are really good. 3 attacks each, 6 wounds, 3 attacks each, 3s, 2s, -2 rend, 3 damage. So they put out a lot of hurt. The Archai are 3-up save as well base, so that's they don't get the 3d6 charge, but they do have potential to give out +1 to cast if they make ward rolls, and they also get a 3-up ward against spells and manifestation abilities, that sort of thing. So
it could be good. Could be pretty decent, yeah.
Yep. And then the Tyrannic cohort. I love those guys because they actually give you some ability to reach out across the board. They get to deep strike, so they are there to pick up some battle tactics for you. So
that's valuable.
This list, has a lot of good stuff in it. Arcan he's a good wizard, and I have not used the crawlers yet, but I'm interested to see how they do. And I think Bone Reapers are in a pretty good place right now. So
this list to me feels like just like a bag of good stuff, just like taking like one of each of like the good things. So not really double down on any kind of spam or anything.
Yep. And looks like he took the Mortek. Is that the now I want to see what that formation does.
Oh, it improves his crawler, but it seems weird.
I mean, really, your choices are to improve the crawler to bring back a Mortek guard unit on a 5-up, or to give your foot wizards +1 to cast. So, unless you're really spamming one of those things, I guess it's kind of just up to personal preference. It's +1 to hit rolls. So that's not. I mean, that means that your 4 attacks are hitting on 3s instead of 4. So.
And I guess if you got Arcane, you kind of don't need the supremacy of the +1 to cast on your AoS Effector. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that of note, you can actually select 3 Mortek crawlers, so more bang for your buck the more crawlers you have. In this case, it's only the 1.
All right. KO. I played KO last night. First time this edition.
I played KO this edition, and I've never played with them or used them.
Dan's still in here. I'm sure he'll provide some opinions on the list.
And Kyle.
Oh yeah. We know that they are in a tough spot, just in general. And what I was picking up last night, I was on playing Fleshy Records into KO to bottom tier armies, and it just didn't feel like he had enough shots, really.
Looks like Nick's calling it a night. Thanks for joining us, Nick.
Yeah, yep, thank you. So he's running the +2 move to his Sky Vessels, which he has a frigate and a frigate. So two frigates. Not all sure what Brock Grundingson brings to the table. He's very expensive, so presumably it's a lot. Let's up to 2 ships run and shoot within 12 once per battle. So that seems good. Um, adds an extra attack to melee weapons. Which doesn't look like he's really rocking that.
Kyle says
Yeah.
no Sky Wardens for priority target, which is something
Yeah, that's what I was.
sounds like he has used for the melee.
Yeah, because it looks like the engine riggers are the only thing that's really going to get a benefit off of this +1 to attacks, right? And their attacks are decent. They are. They just don't. They don't do too well in combat. I was like gobbling them up with ghouls, but they do. It's like rend 3 or 4 attacks at rend 1
Rend
D3
2.
damage or something.
Rend 2 D3 damage. Yeah, 3 attacks,
Yeah,
4s, 3s, Rend 2 D3 damage.
so an extra attack to that isn't terrible at all, and he's always handing that out, which is nice.
Yep, that's the Aethermatic Saw. Can they all? Do they all get that?
Yeah, if you don't switch their guns, it's an option. Which it doesn't look like he is switching them. He just has them reinforced. So that's probably what he's trying to do. Then is send in 12 guys with buzzsaws.
Yeah, chain fists. Is that what they are?
Basically.
Yeah. I guess and 40k.
I think, yeah, he just has to be super careful. This list looks like it has some high damage potential, but all of these, like, the engine riggers and I think Thunders have a 3 up save, but engine riggers only have 4 up with 2 wounds.
They're all going to be able to fight. They're going to be able to fight first, though, right? With the
yeah, out of the frigate, yeah.
I mean that seems like the damage. There's some damage potential there, but once again, light on bodies.
Yeah,
I've always been, KO has always been frustrating to play against with their movement stuff. I know it's not quite as much as it used to be, but
KO's weird, right? I feel like when they're good, it's really, really not fun. But then when they're bad, I genuinely feel bad for people that enjoy them. I feel like GW has a hard time figuring out how to write them.
Yeah, they definitely don't fit the cookie cutter mold of how you can balance armies. Oh, I'm good at melee, or I'm good at shooting. These guys want to bounce around the board, and the only army that can ride in vehicles and stuff. It's not, and that they don't actually ride in them anymore. They just kind of drag guys around. But
I think
Dan and Kyle would probably agree that when they're good, they're fun to play as them.
I'm sure. All right. Clayton owns all gas, no brakes, slaves to darkness.
Oh yeah, and we haven't really touched on it yet, but Slaves to Darkness is the most represented faction at the event, which is pretty standard, as you pointed out in your last stream, for our kind of area in the Midwest. They like
Stormcast Eternals being second. So.
Exactly. So we like our 3-up save, multi-wound folks.
Yeah, and it's definitely here in this list here. We got a lot of Bellicors are showing up too. Bellicor is tough. He's so reinforced chaos chosen. That's brutal right there. We can fight twice. Lots of wounds. Nurgled Chaos Warriors is beef.
Yep, they're -1 to be wounded in melee, right?
Khorne Chaos Knights is interesting because I feel like Nurgle Chaos Knights is what they're usually playing against. They're also beef and really, really good to deal with because it's 3 days.
Khorne gives extra attack on the charge, right?
Yep. Which Chaos Knights are a little bigger now. So, and Khorne, yeah, this list is Shawn, I think.
And then he's got a Khorne Varangard too, so multiple units that can fight twice, once per game.
Yeah. And then the Fell Riders, I believe, with cavalry, so that's some kind of objective runners and screens, and that he needs them to be. Yeah, this list is real beefy, real hard to grind through.
Yeah, I think Slaves to Darkness is in a good place right now, which makes a lot of people happy. around these parts.
So yeah, I don't want to say. Like
Bellacar
it's all
still,
gas, no brakes.
yep, Bellacar still has the ability to, pull his strings and make you not able to do things. So always,
It's tough. It's tough to do. I know some people don't like it. Just some people don't like it. I personally like that he has it. I find it frustrating to play. So play
yep.
against.
I'm glad it exists in the game. Similar to Marathi's rule, where she can only take the 3 wounds per turn. I'm glad that kind of thing exists in the game. But yeah, like you said, it is when you run into it and it doesn't go your way. It's frustrating to play against. But I like interesting. I like interesting rules that are kind of different, right?
Yeah, same. I agree. I think one-off cool like that are a lot of fun. Here is another Trogs list.
Yeah, this one's Mo Trogs, less problems. So I'm guessing this one has more than 12 rock guts. Yep, I see at least 15. 15 rock
Yeah.
guts. Yep. So
And
that's
some born
wait,
Wait.
more than 15. What am I seeing here? I see 3 reinforced 18.
Oh,
So 21 rock guts.
18.
So there you go.
Yeah. I hope you can -1 to hit double. Because they also run in the Trug list. So this is just the Trug herd. There's a Trug. So I believe they could get access to the +1 attacks or the +1 to hit that Trug didn't hit out. So
Yep.
this looks scary, but I think it's susceptible to debuffs.
Yeah, that's the thing about Trogs and Ogres, that sort of thing. If you can hit them with minus attacks or minus to hits, that's your best bet. Try to limit what they can do. They're doing fairly. It's not low volume per model, but the units don't have tons of models in them, so it's low volume, high damage attacks, as it were. So if you can hit them with debuffs, that's what you got to try to do. And just they're not the fastest army, so just try to stay away from them. Hope you run into them in an 8 objective scenario.
Yeah. But if you don't have debuffs, I think you're gonna roll to be in trouble against this list. This is good.
Yep. So good list. I Trogs. I would say Lumineth and Trogs would be my favorites to. Kyle says wound swamp them. They don't actively chew through meat that well.
I'd like to test that. I'd like to see it.
Kyle's been talking about running 120 Arcanaut company, so good test.
Colton, I know Colton. I played him a few times. You played him once. But he's running a small back in all blood drops.
Yeah,
he's got the catch.
I've played against Colton as well. Great painter. Good guy to play against.
Excellent painter. He's a pretty good player too. He really does. I mean, he's been playing Soulblight for several years now. He knows him pretty well.
Yep, he beat me last year at Flying Monkey with his Soulblight.
Yeah, this list is it's in my personal opinion, I'm sure that Colton's got some plan, but in my opinion, this is frighteningly small.
Yeah, it does not. That was my first take too. Is it's not a ton of units. Obviously, maybe too few. I guess what I would say is he's probably, just early edition, trying to like we've talked about already, trying to get the games in right. I suspect, like we both said, we've played against him before. He's good. I suspect he's got a plan here. He's
gonna crash out with the guard, and then just try and bring it back with Nagash. Vordry is really strong. With back in all blood, he's even better. Basically, he's always winning on 2s with all of his damage attacks.
And he's still going to bring back his zombies and his wolves, right? With the normal command.
So. Right. And then morbid conjuration, with Nagash, so he'll be doing as forward control as he can.
Yep, morbid conjuration it's the way to go with Nagash. pre battle scroll anyway, because he's got the 9 casts, and that's the only one with 4 spells in it. So like you're just getting more, and they're good. So you're getting the most value you can get out of him.
Interesting list that I think I'll finish games, and I think that will matter a lot too. I think that's something you keep bringing up. I think it's something we need to also remember is what finished games are going to be better.
Yeah, I am going to try my absolute best to get my games done. He also was 1950. I haven't been paying attention to points that closely, but he did.
Yeah, I think he was one of the only ones so far who paid for the extra command point. Connor Stevens, I ran 5 regiments. Did he have to? Stormcast, Thunderhead host. He is indeed with 5 regiments. And the series with all their good.
Let's see. Vanguard Raptors with long strikes. Those are good. You can.
Those are good.
Yeah. You know they have crit auto wounds. I think they're -2 Ren, 2 damage still. I have not faced them yet. I did run them. I played a lot of Stormcast last edition. I think they're fairly similar to what they were, just without the mortals. I think they're crit auto wounds instead. I was actually going to pull them up real quick because I think you can still shoot twice, once per game with them?
I do not know.
Maybe not. I might be making that up.
No, because that was an old command. I don't think that's there anymore. Right?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yep, I think you're right.
Yeah.
What I was thinking of that you can do once per game still is you can bring a unit back for a command point, half the number of models, but it's not limited anymore. It is still limited, but it's not as limited as it used to be. It can be infantry or cavalry as long as they started with 2 models.
On this one, I'm gonna check the ELO because I do want to know. This is Connor Stevens. This isn't. This is done not by. Well, that's not what I wanted to do. Connor Stevens down here. Okay, he's at 387. I was just kind of curious if like he was like a really solid player because I feel like this is on the one end of like stressing. Do the regiments really matter if you're bringing all of what you consider to be the best stuff? Like you're building the best list.
I think there's certain armies where regiments don't matter, and Stormcast might actually be one of them because you can start so many units off the board.
I'd be curious to see how well he does. Without diving too deep, we got a lot more lists to go.
We do.
Here's another Stormcast, but it is distinctly the opposite of what we just looked at.
It is. We got Corundus and we got Ionis.
Ionis is a beast. He has always been a problem.
Yep, you got a multicast wizard, a multi-prayer priest, and you got 2 units of
Storm. That is really strong. I haven't played against Ionis in fourth, but I have played against Zenestra, and those multi priests are brutal. I remember, I was lamenting that Krathuza wasn't, and I'm like, well, fine, I guess, because that's really strong.
No, it is good. And he still does his soul burn thing, where when he shoots people, he can lose them on fire and can do mortals as the game goes on. His prayer does mortals, and
this list looks to be doing a lot of mortals to fight heavy, fight hard. Not good on the board control, not good on things that can reach out and hurt him too bad, but anything else, it looks like it's pretty solid to be able to just move in and push things off.
None of the stuff is easy to kill in there, with the exception of the
prosecutors
and the 1 unit of 3 long strikes.
Yeah, seems decent.
A lot of beef.
Yeah.
Speaking of beef.
Yeah, here we are.
We've kind of talked about a lot of this already. Furies, they're really good at grabbing objectives.
And they're really good at disrupting objectives too, like you trying to take them back and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can get clowned by Furies pretty easily, where you think that you've got a situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Still has Bellacore, always a good choice. Lots of Nurgle and Khorne units in there. He's got a reinforced unit of Vanguard, so yep, top
Big
notch chef's kiss.
yeah. With Khorne. I did want to look at the Chaos Lord on the Karkadrak because that was something we haven't really touched on. He's big damage. Yeah, on the charge he's 3 damage with crit mortals and 5 attacks, and the Karkadrak itself is 2 damage attacks too. So he's putting out 9 2 damage attacks. That's pretty good. He's got impact hits when he charges up to 3 enemy units. He does impact hits on the shitty D3 or the crappy D3. And then he adds +2 to charge rolls for 2 non-hero warriors of chaos units wholly within 12 of him. So
okay,
that's good too.
And he's got Nurgle, so going to be hard to kill. I assume he's got like 8 wounds or something like that, maybe 10.
Yeah, he's chunky. I think it's close to 10 with a 3 of save.
And he's doing Conqueror's Crown. Okay. Conqueror's Crown's -5 from control scores of infantry units while he's in combat with them. So he's got Mark of Nurgle. He's going to be stuck there in combat for a while. And then Deathmonger is he can fight twice, once per game. So there you go.
Yeah. Beefy.
Really cool. Really like that model too. It's
sick.
I mean, I know it's been around for a while.
And he's running Kronspine. We didn't talk about that. He's actually running Kronspine.
Oh yeah.
More beef.
Yep. And Kronspine, I've I think you and I are kind of on the same page on this, that Kronspine might be a bit of a trap. I think I feel like there's a lot of talk around if you don't have very many casts, then Kronspine is your go-to manifestation lore. Pre-Battle Scroll, I would say I don't agree with that. Post-Battle Scroll, maybe I agree with it more. I think Kronspine stocks have gone up just because if you can get bonuses to cast. I don't think Kronspine is worth it if you have bonuses to cast. But
I agree. Yeah.
But the fact
we'll probably have a manifestation episode at some point where we kind of talk about some of that stuff, especially now the dust is settling a little on what manifestations are supposed to feel like.
Yep, and he's the last man standing with the, can't be banished in one go.
Yeah, and you and I are also both kind of on the same page where I don't think that they are as end-all be-all as a lot of what people have been saying. Daniel Pitt, I played against this guy a few times. I played against him in Adepticon. I think he was playing Dinos, and then I played against him last year. He was my only loss, and he was playing Khorne. So that was he's a pretty good player. He's pretty solid. I'm pretty sure that's him. So he's running more chunky Slaves to Darkus. He's doing Dark Oath Hoer, so it's actually not chunky. This is interesting.
Yeah, this is interesting because he's got Archaon and then restoration of
all of these Marauders, basically.
Yeah.
I like it because I feel like he's got this strong anchor in Archaon, and then just a ton of stuff that if he's got a lot of practice with this, I think this could be really frustrating. I think Dark Oath is like high skill ceiling.
Yeah, I would agree. I think this seems like a really, really fun list to play, actually.
Lots of Fell Riders. So lots of fast stuff.
I have played against Archaon once this edition. He's still hard to kill. I mean, I'm more or less just stayed away from him, so he didn't get to do very much. But he still gets to do his once per game, roll the dice, and who is going first and second turn, so he can play to the double or not. He gets the advantage. Archaon's player gets the advantage of knowing who's going next.
I bet this is a gorgeous looking army too. Daniel's a good painter as well, and I think just like this visually will look really sick, right? Just a few little demons and just like tons of these Marauders and stuff. I think that'll be cool.
Yeah, and
I think this could be good, especially with how much movement is important when it comes to tactics.
Yep.
Sylvaneth, I'll let you. I mean, you haven't played Sylvaneth, but you looked at it pretty closely, right?
Yeah, Sylvaneth was one of the first armies I played Sylvaneth a lot. What was it, after the General's Handbook came out in first edition, maybe? That's when I first started getting into Age of Sigmar. I played it a lot, first edition and early second edition, but I've not played them. I've not played with them third edition. I played against them. Um, I don't know everything about it, but Alariel, I know, she's. I think she provides more value now than she has in quite some time. Um, she can bring units back. She can bring herself back, and then we're looking at Kurnoths with great bows, which I'm always torn on them. On paper, they seem good, but then when you dig closer, they're not that high volume of attacks. They don't have they're Ren 1. They do 2 damage, but the big key to them is they ignore all of the effects of the guarded hero special rule. So they are really, really good foot hero snipers, especially best in the game probably. At least the best. They're the only ones that I'm aware of that ignore all the rules for it.
Do you find it strange that he's running Lords of the Clan, which heals the max 3 on monsters, but then he's really only running 2? Is there a better option? Or does it come down to that there's just not?
I'm not super familiar with all the battle formations, so I don't know. But I mean, Belthanos and Alariel are going to be key to the army. Belthanos grants run and charge basically board wide to multiple units, so he's wanting to give himself and Alariel and those Kurnoth hunters with great swords run and charge the whole game.
I did just look at the other formations, and I can see why you would pick this and not the others.
Somebody
like
Sev 7
the outcast.
should be outcast.
Which would be subtract 3 from control scores. I think with an army this small, that actually could be pretty valuable.
Okay. But Sylvaneth is good. I think they're going to be better after the battle scroll. I think they've moved up quite a bit.
Yeah, I agree.
But they're still doing tricks, and they're still like Kurnoth are good.
True.
Kyle says, yeah, you got to have woods. That's true.
If they lose the woods and Alariel dies, then that list is in trouble.
Yep.
All right. Moving quite along. I probably got about a half hour left.
Okay.
So we got Sons of Behemoth here. King Broad. It's not King Broad Stomp, but King Broad he's really good. I think he's auto-include in this army.
Yep.
Gatebreaker.
Gatebreaker does a lot of damage. He's got double Gatebreaker and then triple Man Crusher to go get objectives. Yeah, I don't know how good Sons are this edition. I think they still are hard to kill. I guess it just
comes down to we're looking
if they can do the damage to take you off the board.
We're looking at 100 wounds right here before we even get to the Man Crusher. So pretty tough.
So I still think they have a place. I think you can't discount them. Like it's not you step up to the table and you're just going to beat them, because you have to pick them off one by one. My brother played against them recently, and he fell in the trap of not, going after one Gargant at a time, and lost the game handily.
I feel like if you fail your damage check, actually you can fall into trouble too pretty quickly too. So just a little bit of bad dice can sometimes just put you behind against them.
Yeah, I mean, and their damage is not. They're susceptible to debuffs, but if they can go off and just really kick the crap out.
I've had a allied in Gatebreaker just one round usher in on full health, so they can just pick stuff up sometimes.
So don't discount them.
But they don't want to be playing on this is, I think, a better attuned list to play on 8 objectives or some of the 6 objective games, because they've got the little guys.
Yeah.
Some of the 4.
I think if I were going to play Gargants, I would want to bring 3 little guys in my list.
Another Hurricane Wind Temple list. Drew. Severeth, a second Fox, Wind Chargers, Elenia and Elithor, who I think are pretty
Wind
good.
Chargers, Reinforced Sentinels. Yeah, this has all
Yeah.
the, all the classics minus tech list. So this is, I don't. There's not
And
a
then
ton to say about it. It's going to be good.
with Saviors of
Uh,
Cinderfall too, so with a little added
yeah,
extra
yep.
magic hunting punch.
Yeah, and extra deep striking.
Yep,
And the
it's gonna be
twins,
good.
the twins are really good. Either with bonuses to cast or 5 damage in round 5 type stuff. So
Yeah, this will be a good list. And Lumineth are just really good if you kind of check a few of these boxes and then move on. So
yep, yeah, it's going to be good.
it'll be fast. It'll be tough. A lot of board control. Another Slaves to Darkness.
This is an Archaon one with the beef. It looks like
Yeah,
so
Arcane one
short on
drop.
battles, but double fighting chosen, double fighting Vanguard. The chosen are reinforced.
All
Furies to
Nurgle.
infuriate you, and then 10 bodies of
And I think
beef.
all Nurgle is good for this too because he's got less bodies, so he really wants to put out that -1 to wound and really keep him around.
Yep.
Yeah, lots of 3+ saves.
Good
Super
list.
chunky.
Yeah, I mean,
hope you got the damage. Hope you got the rend.
yep. Or mortals, focus them down. Focus those units down.
Yeah. Eric with Orc. Ooh, I am not experienced Iron Jaws. Kragnos is good. So.
Kragnos 3d6 charge. That's good. Yeah, I have not played against Iron Jaws this turn. I know Brutes. What are they? 3 wounds, 3 up save. Pretty good damage output.
What I do know just from listening and kind of chatting with people and listening online are the big problem with Brutes and Iron Jaws is that 4 move. So I think Kragnos really helps mitigate that a lot. So
yeah,
and Gore Grunches are faster and they're better.
Yep. Let's see. So Brutes are 3 attacks, 4s, 3s, 1 rend, 2 damage on one of their weapons, and then they have some amount of them can take it. 3 attacks, 4s, 3s, 2 rend, 3 damage. And then
are they 5 for 200?
They are 5 for 200. Yes.
And then what? 3 wounds with the 2 up save or 3 up save?
3 wounds, 3 up save. They do enemy models with health characteristic of 1 or 2 cannot contest objectives when they're in combat with those guys. That's what I was trying to find. I knew they had some sort of control rule.
I unfortunately just don't think that's the season for that rule, right? This is the season for that rule. I mean, as we're going through.
Just looking through these lists, there's not a ton of infantry out there, and I guess as maybe you've noticed by now, we haven't hit a Night Haunt yet, and Night Haunt might be the one army that one
works.
common army that is really good that you see that's really good against.
And yeah, any of your cav is automatically going to be at 3 wounds, so it just doesn't count.
They get bonus attack and bonus charge distance, right, when they waw, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is only once per game per these rules, I believe, but it goes up to once per turn on the new one, I think, from what I read, the battle scroll.
I think Kragnos will help carry this list a bit.
Yep.
I think if you go into it and you're underestimating what they can do and how fast they can move, that's when you're going to get kind of kicked.
Yep, and they do a lot of damage, so watch out.
But I think they might struggle on the, I'd want to play them on the 8 mission board, or sorry, the 8 objective board.
Yep.
Hard for them to get around if they're not making charges, I think.
Yep.
Another Seraphon. This one's a Sunclaw Starhost, which I believe is the pile-in D3 Mortals one. That ability that's been repeated a few times.
And looks like Gabriel said Flying Monkey Con maybe, but it must be Flying Monkey Con confirmed because this is mid list.
Yeah, I think he has decided. This one is similar. He doesn't have Crocscore or Warspawn. He has regular Crocscore. I think Warspawn, the damage output's just slightly higher, but it's kind of a pepper to taste type thing. The double starts. I mean, this is almost identical to what we saw up above. They just have Engine of the Gods, and then he's spamming Agrodon Lancers because they are really good. A lot of
Yeah,
wounds.
they seem really good. Do they have 6 wounds each? 5 wounds, 6 wounds?
I think it's 5. Yeah, with the
Okay.
4-up save. They're and then a ton of 2 damage attacks that they get just more and more of them.
I'm looking through the war scrolls of Seraphon right now. They have by far the most cavalry in the game, don't they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Lots of
7
options.
different
Yeah.
cavalry. I mean, some of them are repeats, like just with different weapons, but yeah, the Agrodons do have 5 wounds each. What does the Engine of the Gods do now?
I don't remember. I remember it being a skip.
Let's see. Engine of the Gods. Pick if this unit will harness or reserve its cosmic engine. Okay, there's a lot to read. On a 3-up, heal D3 to all friendly Seraphon units wholly within 12. On a 5-up, pick 3 friendly Seraphon units and return 1 slain model to each unit. And on a 6, pick up to 3 Seraphon units wholly within 12, and they have strike first. So depends on what you roll.
So you're reserving power on the first turn, hopefully reserving it on the second turn, and then popping an ability on the third turn.
Yeah.
And then reserving. So you get 2 abilities a game, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, are you holding it for strike first? I don't know. Kyle says weird priest effectively mostly will heal, probably. Yeah, because that's the cheapest one, so that makes sense. So kill those units if you can against this list, but yeah,
Good luck,
there's
though.
some
Yeah,
reinforced Agrodon Lancers are not easy to kill. You
and
might be able to kill the
it's
Hunters of Huanchi. They do have the Hunters of Huanchi have the best melee attack name in the game, right, Shawn?
Not those ones. Those ones
dang
with
it.
the stars. Yeah, those are the bolus ones. The bolus give out a -1 to the dice when charging. All right, we gotta move on.
Yep.
A Bellicor beef list. Reinforced Chosen Nurgle, Knights Nurgle, Chaos Sorcerer. You can add the +1 to save, I think. Reinforced Farengard Nurgle, Bellicor Furies. Yep, tough.
Yep.
Very tough.
Yeah.
It's very similar. I mean, I think interesting thing about the slaves is I think like so many of their units are good, right? Like you could do the Dark Oath thing. You could mix and match.
You can take almost any that book and it's good.
Yeah. Do you want Chosen? Do you want Knights? Yeah. Just
what does Mark of Tzeentch do? I know we don't have that much time, but
nothing.
That's fine.
Nothing great. Another Bone Reapers list. Another Bilastari.
Yeah, this one has 2 Mortek crawlers, so like we mentioned before, more bang for your buck there with the +1 to hit. So you're gonna get +1 to hit on both of those. This one has Arcan, so that's like we've already talked about. Good caster. Soul Mason. We talked about the Helm of Tyranny already. That let's see, and then the Aura of Sterility. That's actually the other heroic trait that I mentioned. That's the -1 to be wounded in shooting. So personally, I think that one's better because it's just easier to use.
And then especially if he's kind of doing this boning from a distance thing where he's
he's probably going to castle up and then go out and use his 3d6. He went with the Harbinger, so they have the 3d6 charge. He's going to go hunt stuff with that, and maybe against something that's fighting last, depending on who he's playing against. But OBR is good.
Yeah, this one looks small too, though. It does.
Yeah, it does. Those crawlers are 5 control, so that's helpful.
Okay. Yeah. Gene, he has been somewhat of a bug eater regular.
Right? No, not. I'm not sure who Gene Murphy is.
Okay, I wasn't sure if this is the. Okay.
Nope.
Wrong Gene.
Yep.
Well, another Hurricane Lumineth. This is
Severus, Spirit of the Wind, Wind Chargers, Wind Chargers. Yep.
Reinforced. Yep.
Checks the boxes. That's going to be good. The wind
Yeah.
chargers, reinforced wind chargers shooting is no joke. Just
And 3 foxes. This list is. I mean, this guy he's bringing this to win. This is aggressive, and it's everything that's good in Lumineth right now.
and Saviors of Cinderfall.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like I keep reading down the list. And I'm like, okay, he's got to be out of points now, and it just keeps going.
I feel like the Saviors of Cinderfall and then the Gunners guys, both of those are at that 250, 230 mark, and so a lot of times you just slide that in there, and it really buffs up your army quite a bit.
You're talking about Slaves to Darkness one, right?
Yep.
And then the only other one that people really talk about, which I know this is not germane to this conversation, but it's sometimes in KO people take the Black Talons to get a whiz.
Yeah. All right. Let me quickly talk about this Ghouls one.
Real quick, Mark of Zinch has a 4-up ward against mortal damage from spells and manifestation abilities.
Okay, I guess. We're doing Lords of the Manor with this, 1950. So he's going for his extra point, which I think it's huge for Feck because they want to do that off-turn cast to try and get an extra noble deed. Lords of the Manor means each time he brings a model back with an ability, he gets an extra model. Asheran, 40 Crypt Ghouls, Decapitator. This is probably in here because points, because this guy sucks. Gore Warden, he's good with the teleport, 2 double Morbeg, Reinforced Knights, and Archregent.
Morbeg good.
Yeah, Morbeg good. Archregent is. I have a whole video on basically all these guys and why you shouldn't be playing Lords of the Manor. But if you are playing Lords of the Manor, Archregent is pretty solid.
Does Charnel Vestments make that guy a priest? Is that what it does?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I do think that, like in Lords of the Manor, you want to have more courtiers than he does, because these guys they bring back units, they don't bring back individual models. But yeah, it's fine. More Big Knights are our best unit. Also kind of sucks though because our spell
there as well.
Yep. Our spell doesn't hit them though, the good spell that brings back models, and that I like coupling with Lords of the Manor, so that's a bummer too. I almost want like Crypt Horrors or Flares for that, but I'll be interested to see how he does.
Yeah, Feck are fun. I think I just don't know what kind of position they're in right now.
Not good is the position.
Yeah. You've been winning games with them.
Yeah. Some.
Another ogres list. This is glutton.
Glutton.
Whoever plays against this is going to be a glutton for punishment.
No, this is a lot. Was that? Is this 30 gluttons? Yeah. Which makes the list easy to talk about. They're coming in doing double damage, or doing 2 damage, running and charging.
Slaughtermaster, 2 butchers as a reinforced unit. Iron Guts. I mean, yeah.
Beef, and it hits heavy and hard. James Fryer. Now that is a bug eater regular.
Yep, James Fryer. I've definitely played against him before. James, nice guy. He is bringing the Trogs, which he has brought before as well. This is a lot of Rocket Trogs. We've already talked about it. I think this is one of the lists that I would say, this list archetype, I'd say, along with Lumineth and Slaves to Darkness, this list are the favorites, I would say.
Well, if you look at the numbers, everybody else seems to agree. So,
good list.
Yeah, 8. We got this already. It's 18 Trogots. We got Trog this time. Skagrat. It's good.
Skagrat's good.
Yep.
If you can target that Loon Shrine with some sort of ranged attack, do.
Yeah, we have another Slaves to Darkness, Crown Spine, Knights, Warriors, Karkajak, Varangard.
Yep. We've covered all this already. It's good.
Yeah, it's all just different variations on the sundae, right? Like, do you have
Yeah.
sprinkles or do you have gummy worms?
Yep. And then, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of slaves to darkness playing against each other.
Oh, Kronspine. Yeah. Um, Jason Egley. I've seen this guy. I've seen this name before. I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever played him. Squigglelanch. So that's actually an interesting group by gets.
Yeah, I don't see any trogs in here. So, but I do see lots of reinforced squig units. So, does Squigalanch maybe do extra damage on the charge or something with squigs?
I think it gives the squig guys an extra attack. That's the squig, the companions, something like
Okay.
that.
Oh yeah. It does something to the squig attacks. Add one on the charge. Yep, for their bites. So this is a lot of wounds to chew through as well. I know squigs went down to only being one wound each, but
It's a lot of random movement too, so it could move really fast and it could have a lot of control.
yeah,
But it's kind of all over the place. Right?
yeah. I don't have really any experience playing as squigs, and I've not played against a ton of squigs this edition, so this will. I'm just not sure, to be honest with you. I'll be interested to see how this is, and maybe we'll do another conversation after the fact and kind of talk about some of the lists
Yeah.
that do well and maybe some of the interesting ones. Um, Jason
As
Burrow.
Jason Burrows, we both have played against him. I think
Yep,
it's funny that his list is I'm so slow because
he's
I have played games against him, and sometimes he's fine. Sometimes he plays a little slow, so it's funny that he said that. But
uh,
overall, good experience most of the time. He's been rocking slaves and Nurgle for a while, so I'm not
yeah,
surprised to see this.
yeah. I've always liked playing against him.
Yeah, not. This is two double Baron guards.
Yep. Good luck.
Boom. Yeah,
30 wounds, 3 up
that's
save. Kill them before
and
they
then
fight twice and kill
Jason's
you.
been a big Kronspine loyalist as well. He's been playing the Kronspine since it came out.
He
A
has.
lot of times it would be one of us and him would be the only ones bringing the Kronspine. So
Yep. Kronspine Stan. This is a good list. And once again, Slaves to Darkness with your choice of whatever units you want to bring. A little short on bodies maybe, but he's gonna mow through your units. Yeah. So I mean, some of it's gonna come down to which Slaves to Darkness players beat which other Slaves to Darkness players. So, yeah. I think we might have lost Shawn, and he is sharing. He was the one sharing the list. So, give us a minute.
all right, sorry about that. I had a big connectivity problem.
No problem.
Sorry about that. Shit. All right. Let's see what we can get through in the last few minutes here.
Yep. Jesse Brandt, I played against him before. He's a longtime Stormcast player. I played against him last year, actually. Stormcast mirror match. He beat me, so good guy to play against. Playing Stormcast, so I think we've talked about quite a bit of this before. AoS.
Yeah.
Uh,
Interesta,
yep.
Grandis, the
Reed.
wizard one this time, but
Yep.
Paladors, Vanguard Paladors move really quickly.
Yep.
Raptors,
Got the
doing
unit of long
some heavy
strikes.
shooting.
So
Yeah.
I don't know that Stormcast is top of the heap, but in the right hands, they can be good. And Jesse has been playing them for a while, so I would expect him to do.
Here's another good player that we both played a few times, Joe.
Yep.
He's been playing cities a while too.
Yep, he has.
Yeah, I'll let you quickly do the rundown on this because we haven't talked about cities. If you can
Yep.
be brief, see how far we can get.
Yep, I can. He's playing a lot of the dwarf units. They're hammers. Hammers are really good. He's also doing the +1 to cast on his wizards. Looks like on his foot wizards, which is the best one, even though he's only got 2. So he's gonna get +2 to cast on both the battle mage and the sorceress. You got to be a lot of drops with Cities of Sigmar because you need those orders. And then he's got Bundo thrown in to be kind of an anchor in the middle. So I expect this in the hands of a good player. It's practiced with the army to do quite well. Actually, I'm interested to see because I like Cities of Sigmar.
And Joe is a good player. He's a strong player, so I do expect him to do pretty well.
Yep.
John Bolton, another one drop. Eternus, Vanguard, Chaos Knights Reinforced, Chaos Knights Reinforced. Nurgle, Chaos Knights Reinforced is.
Yep.
This is beefy.
And Bellicor.
Kind of,
yeah, you're not going to kill those knights. Or it's going to take a minute. So.
Eternus is the one spicier, and I don't think Eternus is that good. So I kind of like the Dark Horse move on it. So.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same. This one doesn't have the same damage output as some of the other ones, but it definitely has a lot of staying power.
Right. Another Seraphon list. Cool Johnny and the Cold Boys. Okay. A joke that I do not get. Yes, we got Salon, Reinforced Agrodons, Reinforced Crocscore. Source Guard are also really good for their points. High damage output. Raptidon Chargers are pretty solid. Dart Pipes is interesting on Hunter's Swanchy.
Is that the one that comes with the Feeble Claws?
It is. The Feeble Claws. But yeah, a lot of the same things we see. A lot of this core that's like high damage and high health. With the Salon being able to take them or make them come back with usually some speedy skinks to really run objectives and do well. And with Riptodactyls and Raptidon Chargers, those are really healthy units. It looks like he's doing a lot of reinforcing to really bank on the Starmaster bringing back some healthy units.
Yep.
And then Beastmaster is going to give the cavalry extra move while he's close by. So
cool.
Fast. Another Stormcast Eternals.
Yep. We see Grandis,
dragons again.
Wizards with the reinforced long strikes and a bunch of dragons. So yeah, we've talked about it already. Lots of wounds on a 3-up save. Or big wound count models. Really, Stormcast depends on how practiced you are with it, I think.
Yeah, they're definitely a player's army. Just a bunch of rats from Jordan.
Yeah, they are using the new rat book, just FYI. That did make it under the wire. I don't know much about rats.
Yeah, I think we may have to skip it because we can't really reference a lot. Vermin Lord Warpseer is probably my favorite Vermin Lord. Deceiver's kind of crazy. He's got that 4+ teleport 13 inches as long as he stays in combat. So he could just like ruin you on a turn on a 4+, just casually.
Yep. And Thankful. And then some shooting with the Giselles and Storm Fiends.
Doesn't
Hey guys, looks like Shawn's having connection issue again. I think we're out of time here. This took longer than we expected it to, so I think we'll probably call it a night. Call it a night here. Sorry we didn't make it through all the lists. Thanks for joining in.